Till now, whatever the programs I have done, I have taken a sample data of my own choice and I am working, writing the logic on the sample data. But now I want to take the data from database. Then how do you take the data from database? We call this as a SOQL. What is the topic we call? SOQL. What was that? SOQL stands for Salesforce Object Query Language. Salesforce Object Query Language. Salesforce Object Query Language. Look at the point. Now, SOQL stands for Salesforce Object Query Language. If you want to fetch the data from database, we will write a query. So what is a query? Query is a statement. Query is a statement which is used to fetch the data from any statement that you write to fetch the data from database, we call it as query. So SOQL will run you list of S object. Why? I told get the data from account. Do you know how many records are there in account? It may be 1, it may be 2, it may be 1000, it may be 1 lakh. I am not sure how many records are there in the database. When you query, it may give you 1 record, it may give you 10 records, it may give no records. So I cannot guarantee how many records will come from the SOQL. That is the reason we go with a list of S object. SOQL will give you list of S object as we are not sure how many records we are going to get it. Right? When you are not sure about the size of the number, size of the records or count of the records, we will go for list. If you already know the size of the records, then we go for array. When you are not sure about the size of the record, I'll go with the list. So SOQL query is going to give you list of S object. Up to how many records it can give you? Up to 50,000 records. Then look at the point. How do you write the query? Select fields from the sum. Basic query. Now, SOQLs are used. SOQLs are used to fetch data from associated objects. SOQLs are used to fetch data from associated. Who is that boss? Stop the talking. Now, SOQLs are used to fetch data from associated objects. It can be a child object or it can be a parent object. SOQLs are used to fetch the data from associated object. It may be from child object or it may be from corresponding parent object. Now, let me give an example. You are writing a query, select name, phone, industry, account. Now, we are writing SOQL to fetch the data from account. Select fields from S object. Select fields from S object. Now fetch the data from opportunity. We get it. Select last name, first name, phone from contact. Fetch the data from opportunity. How we give it? Select name, stage name, close date from opportunity. Now when you want to fetch the data, select fields from S object. Select fields from S object. Select fields from S object. We are writing a SOQL query. Select the fields from S object. Now, if you are writing a query, it is going to return you the result. How it is going to give you? Generally, we write the query in this format. List of S object, result equal to select fields from S object. When you know which fields you are going to query, when you know which condition you are going to write, then this is the format. When you are going to always execute the same query with the same condition, you are going to write this. When you know which fields you are fetching, from which object you are fetching, what is the condition you are writing, then we are going to write this. When you know which object, which fields you are fetching, from which object you are fetching, which fields you are going to query, what is the condition you are going to write, then we go with the list of S object, result equal to select the fields from S object. Basically, SOQL is for what? Writing a query, fetching the data. SOQL is for what? Writing a query, fetching the data. Now, let us understand this. Let us take the first example. Now, public list of accounts. Now, what is the value of accounts? Accounts equal to null. Accounts equal to null. Then what I'm doing? Public SOQL example. Now, accounts. Accounts is referring to a location. Which location? When I write a SOQL query, it is going to give me list of records. SOQL query will give you what? List of records. SOQL query will give you what? List of record. Whatever the list of record that SOQL query is giving, they are referred with accounts. What are the list of record that SOQL query is giving you? They are referred with accounts. Now, what is that? List of accounts has got the data from list of records which are fetched from the database or stored in the list. Previously, what did I do? I created a list, created a sample data. But now we are fetching the data from database. Now we are fetching the data from database. So let us display this. Right. Apex form. Now, whatever the records we fetched, we want to display. Accounts. Name, industry rating. So what is that? We wrote a SOQL query, we fetched the data. Now, how we are getting the data? I wrote a SOQL query. Whatever the query I wrote, it has given me list of records. This accounts is referring to this. Now you need to understand, when I write a SOQL query, this is a SOQL query. When I write this, it is going to give you what? It is going to give you what? List of. This is going to give you a list of record. Already records are there, fetched. It is in the form of list of records. That list of records are referred with. Now, people have to understand, reference variable will refer to new location or existing location. When you say account ACC equal to new account, what does that mean? New account, create a new object, and that object is referred with ACC. Or else I can say account XYZ equal to ABC. What is that? I am not creating a new object, referring to existing object. Similarly, here when I read a SOQL query, it is giving you what? List of records, already existing data, existing object. That object is referred with variable. I hope you are good. Clear for everyone? Clear for everyone? So I wrote a basic SOQL query. I fetched the data. Now what is my requirement now? My requirement is, after fetching the data from the account object, create the account name as pick list options. You wrote a basic SOQL query. You got the data. Take one by one name. Create them like a pick list option. Let me give you. So how we are taking? Public list of how do you create a pick list option? Public list of select. I told each option will be created as select option. Each option will be created as select option. So what we are supposed to do? Public account is equal to else I take name comma equal. Then options equal to option. First option I am creating select option n equal to none I created. What is the option I created here? None option. Then I add it to list. Then take one by one account. This is what we used to write a logic in the previous cases. In the previous examples, when you're writing a logic for the list, I told, assume that already we have a list of records, take one by one record. So instead of manually creating a sample data, assume that we already have a list of records. That's what I used to tell. Right. Now what happened now? In this case, we are already getting a data from database. Now create option. OP equal to. What is the first one? Item value. What is the second one? Item label. Now my item value is account name. Account name is the item value. So A dot. Then account label is the account name is the. What we got? Account name is the item value. Account label is also item value. Item value and item label are account name only. Then I have created. How many options will be created? Depends upon number of account. For every account, one option is created. For every account, one option. If there are 10 accounts, 10 options. 20 accounts, 20 options. I hope you got my point. So what is the first thing they have done? Create a none option. Take one by one. Create a option. Item label. So this is what I have created. Now go to the VF page. Select options. Then have a preview. Basically none option. So what we're getting? Getting all the account names as right, boss? We're writing a SOQL query, getting all the account names. We are displaying that account names as pick list. I hope you are good with this. People are good with this. Now, basic SOQL query I have taken. After taking the basic SOQL query, whatever the data we are getting, based on the data, I was creating one by one pick list option and I was displaying. Anyone has any query on this? People are good with this? Look at the code. Anyone has any query on this? Any query on the SOQL query? Select field from object. As simple as that. Then what did you create? You create a pick list option. How do you create a pick list option? Select option, item value, comma, item label. One by one option you have to create, add them to the list. One by one option you have to create, add them to the list of pick list. I hope you are good. I hope you are good with this. Clear for everyone? Okay. Let us do one example. Let us do one example. Similar type, write a query to fetch all the accounts, create a pick list with account name as label, account phone address value. Do this example. Look at this sample example what I created. Referring to this code, fetch the data from account object. Fetch the data from account object. Then create account name as a label, account name as a label, and account phone number as value.
Satish sir, I have a question.
Go
The
ahead.
select option here that you have used, is that a wrapper class or is that a standard?
Which
Is
one?
that an as object like this account?
Come again.
Here in your code, you said public list select option
option is
options,
standard
right?
class. This is standard class.
Okay, standard.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
It is.
Yes.
So in the last line, that is line number 12. So we have selected the you have specified that take one by one account from the line 6 and create option with item value and item level as account name. Fine. So we have taken data from one account or from the multiple accounts.
Pardon me, boss. You are taking one by one account, or what is the format here? What is an age here?
Is
A single account or a group
variable.
of account? What is the meaning of this for loop? What is the meaning of? It's a list of accounts. From the list of accounts, one by one account we are taking, and that with that account name, and we are creating a pick list option. It is a list.
Yeah.
A is one record. Take one by one record from the list. With that record, you create an option.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. But A is a reference variable, no, in the last line.
A is a reference variable referring to one record. No. What does the reference variable will refer, Amma?
So it will refer to multiple accounts.
It will not refer to multiple accounts. It is referring to one account or multiple accounts.
One account.
Then how come this will refer to multiple accounts here?
No, you just said no. It will pick the multiple accounts.
This is a SOQL query which is given multiple accounts, Amma.
Yeah.
Right. From the list of accounts, this list has like this. A is referring to.
Yes.
Then take this account. Done, completed. Then go to next.
Yes.
This is what it is going to do.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Any other query, boss, from anyone else? Then complete the example. Yes, Amma.
Sir, one doubt.
Pardon me. Right. Whichever the field you want to fetch, you will fetch it. Okay. Every field you fetch doesn't mean that you have to use it. Whether you fetch or not, ID will come by default. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Any other query from anyone else?
Sir, is there any limit for this number of records to be fetched? Like
Number of?
accounts there is there, right?
I didn't get you.
Records.
Number of?
Records, like 10 records or 10, 20
Okay.
records. Any limit?
Make the query complete. Ask the complete query. You mean to say how many records are fetched from SOQL?
The default number of records to be fetched from SOQL, because there is no limit we have mentioned,
You
right?
can fetch. See, when you write a query, we don't know how many records are going to fetch. If you want to limit it, you have to specify it. By default, all the records will be fetched. Maximum 50,000 records will be fetched by default.
Okay, but the list option is showing around 15 to 20 only, right?
Now, number of records you have. See, in my database, if I have 20 records, I'll get only 20. No.
Okay.
See, I wrote a query box. How many records are there in my object? How many are there? 14. It will give only those 14 records.
Okay, okay. I thought there might be more
No,
than that.
no. Right, Amma? Have you achieved this? Same thing what I done. Now it is going to be a dot phone number comma a dot name. Same thing I gave, but only difference is a dot phone number comma a dot name. I hope you are good. Same program, only the difference is account name is the label a dot name. Account phone number is the value a dot. I asked you to write the same program, only the change is here. I hope you are good. Now let us go to the next one. Look at the next one. When you are going to this, I am writing a query, I am fetching the data. I am writing a query, I am fetching the data. In this case, I have a fixed query. What was that? ID name from account. ID name from account. Now, I want to give you a pick list option for you. I want to give a pick list option. Whichever the fields you are selecting, those fields I want to query. Now, how did you write a query? Select fields from object. It is a fixed query. Now, I want to give an option to you. Look at the point. I want to give an option. What is the option I want to give? I want to give a pick list like this. Now, whichever the fields I am going to select in the pick list, if I select these three, I want to form the query. What is the query I want to form? Select. Suppose if I select these fields, the query should be like this. Now, the fields which I want to fetch, that should depend upon the fields what I selected here. Select industry. Did you get my point? Did you get my point here? Now, how will you form this? How will you form this? Is it a fixed query? Always the same query is executed? No, right? Now, which options you are going to select? Do you know which option you are going to select? Somebody may select name industry. Somebody may select name phone. Somebody may select name rating. Somebody may select rating industry. Now, I cannot write number of SOQL queries here. Is it a fixed query? Always you are fetching the same data? No. Then how will you form your SOQL query? So this is called a dynamic SOQL query. When the query need to be formed based on user interaction, then we call it as what? Dynamic SOQL query. When the query need to be formed based on user interaction, then we call it as dynamic SOQL query. I hope you are getting my point, right? Let me give you a quick example. Listen carefully, boss. Very important. Listen carefully. Very important. Listen carefully. I'm just introducing this topic in the beginning itself so that we can write number of examples on similar format. Public list of first listen to the format. Listen to the concept step by step. Option is equal to these are the list of fields. Now take one by one field. Take one by one field. Take one by one field. Select option. What is S? S is name. Item value is name. Item label is also name. What is S? When I start the loop, what is the value of S? S is name. What is the first value here? Item value equal to S. Item label equal to S. Item value equal to S means name. Item label equal to S means name. Fetch the item value, item label. Fetch the item value, item label. Fetch the item value, item label. Are you getting my point? Fetch the item value, item label. So based on the options what we entered, we are trying to create here. This is what I have created. So any query till here now? Till here anybody has any query? Anybody has any query? So how do you create an option generally? Select option, item value, S is name, then item value is name, item label is name. Okay, if S is phone number, item value is phone number, item label is phone number. If S is rating, item label is rating, item value is. People got it? Then create a VF page. Multi-select equal to true. Why? I have to select more than one option at a time. Then we had select class equal to we preview. Now what we got here? We got a multi-select pick list field. If I select this, if I select the label, what will be coming? What I will receive? If I select the label, I'll receive the values. Item labels are selected, I'll get the item values. So let us see here. Command. Now we preview. Now look at this. I selected these three. What are the values we got here? Phone, rating, industry. Now I selected type. Right. Whatever the options I am selecting, I am getting here. So because it is a multi-select, I am able to select more than one option. How do you make the pick list as multi-select? How do you make the pick list as multi-select? Multi-select equal to 2. Now if it is a pick list, I will give value equal to string amount. If it is a multi-select, value equal to list of string. If it is a pick list, how many options you are going to select? One option. So value will be what? String. If it is a multi-select, how many values you are going to select? More than one. So it is going to be what? List of string. Have you got the point? If it is a multi-select, I am going to select more than one value. If it is a multi-select, I am going to select more than one value. That is the reason it is a list of string. Now value equal to selected. What is this selected? List of string. Because there is a possibility of selecting more than one option. There is a possibility of selecting more than one option. There is a possibility of selecting more than one option. Right. Any query on this? Line number 9 to line number 13. Line number 9 to line number 11. Select list, multi-select equal to true, style. To get the width and height, I gave style. Value equal to group of records. When I click on go, I have to write a query here. Look at the point. Public void HD. Then string query equal to. Now I cannot take a fixed query. I have to form the query based on the values. When the query is not fixed, you have to form the query like a string. When the query is not fixed, you have to form the query like a string. When the query is not fixed, when the query is not fixed, when the query is not fixed, you have to form like a string. So what was this? Select ID. Then I told for string, take one by one field from the selected. Whatever the fields you selected, take one by one. Query equal to query plus comma. Let us assume we have selected our name, phone. Now what is the value of S? Value of S is, then how the query will be? Query equal to selected, ID, comma, S. What is S? What is S? Name. Then go to the S next time. What was the S now? Query equal to, what is query? Select ID, comma, name, plus, comma, S. What is S? Again, S is moved to next one. Then, what is the query? Select ID, comma, name, comma, phone, plus, comma, what is the value of S? Are you getting my point? Are you clear about this? Now, this is the query boss. First time, when it took, what is the value of query? Query equal to ID. Next, here S equal to name. Then what is the query? Query equal to query plus comma yes, which is nothing but select ID comma name. Again I have query, okay, S equal to query plus what was that? Select ID comma name comma yes. What is yes? Industry. S equal to query plus how it is given? Select ID comma name comma industry comma yes. Are you getting my point? Are you clear? When if the selected values are name, phone, industry, I don't know what values you are going to select, but the format will be same. At the end of the game, what we are giving? Select ID comma list of fields what you selected. Then query equal to query plus from account. Then once you created this, finally what is the query? It is a string what we formed. How do you execute the string? You cannot execute the string like this. List of accounts equal to, you cannot execute like this. How should you execute? If you formed like a string, database dot query. If you want to create a string and execute, database dot query, database dot query. What should I give? Database dot query. When will you take this format? When everything is fixed. Select ID comma name comma phone from account. When it is a fixed query, every time the same query will run, I will take this. But can you guarantee the same query will run in this case? No. Sometimes you select only name, sometimes you select only industry, sometimes you don't select anything, sometimes you select name, industry and rating. I don't know what you are going to select. Based on what you selected, query should be formed. It is not a fixed query. Query will change time to time. Query will change time to time. When the query is changing time to time, you have to form the query like a string. When query is changing time to time, you have to form a query like a string. Have you followed this concept? Anyone has any query? Any query from anywhere? Right. Now, look at this execution. Let me complete the execution. I'll explain again. Data table value equal to then rendered. What is it rendered? Only when the data is there, display it. Okay, let me show it. Then how you display it? Now, if you want to display, which field you are going to display now? Tell me. How do you know? If you know, you selected name phone, I will display name phone. But I don't know which fields you selected. Am I right? The page block table, if you know it is a name, I will display name. Phone, I will display phone. But how do I know what you have selected? Then here, I have to take apex column Look at the point. Apex, repeat, value equal to, what is that? Selected fields. What are the fields you have selected within the data table? We are giving apex column value equal to a record. In the a record, display the following field. Let us go and see. This is what I create. You are not getting this bug here.
We
Somewhere I
didn't
was.
add the action to the go.
Oops, yeah. You're right. I forgot to add the action here. No, select the data. So what happened? Name, phone, district. Now on the top you are not getting labels, right? How to get the labels? We'll see. Don't want to make it too complex at the beginning. So what we are fetching here? Phone, rating, industry. I'll say fetch it. Name, rating, type. Are you getting my point? Based on the fields what I selected, I'm getting the data. Only name. Are you getting my point? So is it a fixed query or dynamic query? Why you are saying it's a dynamic? Because every time I click on the button, same query is running. Every time I click on the button, same query is running. No, same button I am clicking, but query is not the same. So query is going to change from person to person, transaction to transaction. So I may select, okay, this time I may select name, next time I may select name and phone number. So it is not the same query. When it is not the same query, it is what? Dynamic query. When query is changing from transaction to transaction, I have to form a query like a string. When query is changing from transaction to transaction, I have to form the query like a string. Now, what are these things called? Their item labels or item values. Whatever they are displayed, what are they? Item label. If I select item label, what I will get? Item value. Where is that item value saved? Where is that item value saved? Whatever the options I selected, all those options are stored in a variable called selected. Is it a string or a list of string? Why did you take a list of string here? Why did you take a list of string? Generally, pick list means string I will take. Why did you take list of string here? In the multi-select, you may select more than one option, so I will get more than one item value. So I have taken list of string. First of all, this pick list is clear. Pick list is clear. These 3 lines are clear for everyone. These 3 lines are clear. Am I clear with these 3 lines? So what is going to be there in the selected? Whatever the field labels I have selected, those field values are stored in selected. And selected is what? List of strings. Is that was clear for everyone? Everyone is good with that? Okay. Then go back to this one. So let us start with the line number 6, line number 9 to 12. Look at the code from 9 to 12, what it is doing. 10 to 13. Look at the code from 10 to 13. What I am doing? What is that fields? List of string. What is the value of S? Name. So item value is name. Item label is name. Item label name, item value name. If I select name, I am going to get name. If I select phone, I am going to get phone. If I select rating, I am going to get rating. I created option. How many options I created? Depends upon number of fields you have mentioned here. If I give 6 fields, 6 option. 10 fields, 10 option. 90 fields, 90 options. Right? Okay. Now, this is the query. Now, in this, once again I will create. First of all, what I am doing? String query equal to. Why did you take a string? Because the query is going to change time to time. I will form the query depends upon the user interaction. I will form the query. If you have to form a dynamic query, we will make it as what? String. Then, what is there in the selected? This is a list of. This will contain list of fields which we have selected. Then for we are assuming that we selected name. Now the query is going to be query equal to query please. Field 1, comma. How do you write the query? Select ID, comma, name, comma, phone, comma. That's the reason I told field name, comma, field. It is going to give you select ID plus comma, S is name. Next time when you call query, select ID, comma, name, comma, S is. I hope you are good. Then I told query equal to query plus from object. Don't forget to give this space. Then how do you execute it? Account is equal to database dot. I hope you are good. People are good with this. People are good with this. Okay. Now, when I want to display, generally, how will I display, boss? Generally, what is my format? Column value equal to a dot phone, a dot industrial queue. But this time, how can you give this? We cannot guarantee. This time we cannot get. This time we cannot guarantee. This time we cannot guarantee. Why you cannot guarantee? Because I don't know what fields you are going to select. Okay, that is the reason I am taking repeat. Value equal to. What is the selected list of fields? What you selected? Value equal to field. Now let us assume if the field is name. What is this A? A is account. From list of accounts, A is an account. Then how I was supposed to do? Fix value equal to A of. What happened? You're going to get A of. Then this loop is completed. Once the loop is completed, what will happen? Go to the above. Again, A is different. A dot name, A dot phone, A dot industry. This is how we are making it. Right. Now, generally, practically, when you go, this is the complex scenarios what we encounter. So, if you write a simple SOQL queries, in practicality, will not be useful to you in the real time. You only get outputs if you use the simple queries. You need to practice all your requirements with respect to dynamic, so that the complex scenarios will be handled. I hope you're good with this. Clear for everyone? People are good. Shall we try one example? Right. Try the same example what we created. Try the same example what we created. Now, first, I'll give the step-by-step code. Start implementing. Create a list of first do the first step. Do step by step what I'm giving. First create a list which will contain the field names. Then create a list of select option. Take one by one field from step 1 and create a option. What is the first step you have done? List of string fields equal to new list of then do the step number 2. Select option. Then take one by one field. String S. Options. Add OP. Create a list. Create a list of string. Selected. Take one by one. On form. Take one by one field from selected and form query. Create a list of string with name. So how do you take it? String or equal to, then take one by one for then we gave query equal to query plus comma.
Satish, shouldn't we create a list here before?
Now I am giving a snippets of code what you have written there. With the combination you have to form this example. This is the program. But logics what I used here I was mentioning here. What logics I have taken I am giving snippets separately. You told I have taken a list of field names. I told one by one field name I have taken and created an option. I told there is a list of, if we have a list of string, how to take one by one value and form a query. This is not the program. Logics what I use it there I am writing separately here. So that you understand and re-implement the program. People have followed this.
Thanks.
Right, boss? Am I clear with this example? Right. Next one. Now, after writing a SOQL query, so dynamic SOQL query and fixed SOQL query, dynamic SOQL query and static SOQL query. Now, when you're writing a query, I am getting 50 records. I don't want the 50 records. I want only 5 records from the result. I wrote a SOQL query. Query has given you 50 records. But according to my requirement, I want only 10 records from the query. Then what is that? We want to limit number of records what we are receiving from result. Query will execute. Query is giving you 50 records. from 50 records, I want only 10 records. So what is that? We want to apply limit. What is the functionality? Limit. If you want to apply any limitation on the number of records what we want to fetch, then I go for limit. Then I have public. The previous example is very important, Amma. Try to practice, get proper idea about that query. You are going to use it number of times. Then I gave account is equal to I got account. Then I'm giving limit public void then if you want to apply limit, we're going to say account limit 5. We want to get only 5 records. From the result is fetched, all the records will come. From the result, I want to take 5 records. Next, I don't want to give a fixed value. I don't want to give a fixed value. Whatever the user is giving, those many records I want to fetch. Now here I give static value called 5. I don't want to give a static value called 5. Whatever the user is specifying, that we need to get it. Limit colon count. Now why did you use colon there? Whenever we are trying to use a variable in the SOQL query, whenever we are going to use a variable in the static SOQL query, whenever we are going to use variable in the static SOQL query, listen to the term, variable in static SOQL query. There are two types of query, dynamic and static. Whenever we are using variable in static SOQL query, there we use colon followed by variable, colon followed by variable, colon followed by variable. I repeat, whenever we are using variable in static SOQL query, we are going to use colon followed by variable. Let me create a VF page here. Let me copy paste. I don't want to write the entire code again. You know how to display the page block tables, right? Here I am giving page block equal to action equal to what is the data we fetched here? My limit. So this is how I created. What was the bug here? Name, industry, phone rating. Where did I give here?
Sound spelling was wrong in the weaker
Yeah.
source code.
So now we got all the 14 records. When it is static, I told you get 5 records. Then I'm applying here 3. Get number of records what you need. This is based on the count what you are giving. I'm getting the value. Right, boss? So we are using variable. Basically, basic purpose of limit is what? How many records you want from the result. After writing a query, how many records you want from the result. After writing a query, how many records we want from the result. I hope you are good. Okay. Now let me give you next one. When you are fetching the list of accounts, total how many records are here? 14 records. I am deleting some of the records here. So it's we have only 12 records. We'll go back, execute it. So when I execute it, how many records we are getting? We are not getting the 2 records which are deleted. So when you write a query, we are only getting the data which is available in the database. Now I told all records. When you say all data, here I am giving all rows. When I use a keyword called all rows, get me all the records including the data which is deleted. Including the data which is deleted but still in the object. Now all rows, the purpose of it. Let us see this. Now we are not able to see the 2 records, H and some ABCD, something was there. So when you say all rows, H capital. So when you say all rows, including the records which are deleted but still in the object. Records which are deleted, they will be still in the object for 15 days. So fetch all the records, including the records which are deleted, still they are in object. I hope you're good. All rows, including the records which are deleted. Limit will specify how many. All rows specifies, including the records which are deleted. Right. Next, offset. One more. From which position you want? From which position I want? Offset. When I say offset 5 or offset 10. From 10th position, get me the records. From the result, after getting the result, I wrote a query, I got 40 records. In the 40 records, from 10th position, get me the result. Offset will indicate from which position. Set position. From which position you want? Offset. Now, when you say offset, from 10th position, get me records. There are 12 records. Index will start with 0. So, remaining 2 records are given to you. Limit will say how many. Offset will say from where. Limit will say how many. Offset will say from where. All rows will say records in database and deleted records. I hope you are good. Clear for everyone? So, that's all from my end for the day. We'll continue tomorrow.